Life Audio.
Today on Talk About That, John has specific instructions for his wife when he dies and reveals his obsession with vice grip pliers. Meanwhile, I ponder the real villain of the Titanic movie and tell the strange story of how government-imported camels in the 1800s led to ghost sightings in Arizona. Plus a conversation about contemplation and the power our thoughts have over the direction of our lives. Today's episode is not sponsored by a box of old cables in your garage. Every man has one, and every man is afraid to throw it out. But first, a word from our actual sponsor.
Johnny, it's what you come to expect every week. It's Talk About That.
We are so consistent. We're like a stable, we're like the earnest stepdad of your lives.
Wow.
You've been hurt, and now we're trying to restore. We're coming into a damaged world, a damaged situation. We're like, hey, I'm going to be there for you. And they're like, you're not my real podcast. We're like, hey,
I'm not going anywhere.
Listen,
it doesn't matter what you say.
I love your mother very much.
Wait, that's when this went. Yeah, I always wonder. I always tell Laura, make sure if I die, remarry.
You've told her this?
Oh, yeah. What,
okay.
Y'all don't talk about it?
Maybe.
You and Curry don't talk about what happens if one of you dies?
Well, John, I can't die. This is a weird time to bring it up, but
I've tried.
I'm immortal.
No,
I mean, you've had the.
Oh yeah,
she's already like, oh, of course, I've already.
Yeah, are you kidding?
I've already got
2 or 3 options.
A list.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's one of those
you want her to marry somebody that has more flaws than you, though, right? You don't want her to
maybe marry someone with both more flaws and more money. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna have more flaws,
right?
You might as well have.
You want the secure, but you have life insurance. She'll be taken care of, right?
Hold on,
she'll be set. She'll be set. So now you just want her to. You don't want it to be some poet with abs.
No, that's the thing. What if he is? I want her to be happy. What if that makes her happy? I guess I want her to be happy.
Oh man!
But if he's better than me,
I just need you to admit that this doesn't make you a good person. I want my wife to remarry. I just want her to be happy. I
want her to be happy with a guy that's lesser than me.
Yeah.
That she always hallows me, even if only in secret. Yeah. Of you know what, but no one could ever live up.
Yeah, you want him to be frustrated, but never be able to verbalize it. And they don't fight about you, but he secretly goes, well, I'll just never be able to live up to that. Yeah. He was a saint.
What was it was Jack's, when Jack died in
This Is Us.
This Is Us.
Yeah.
And he knew he would never.
Yeah.
But
he just kind of lived his Yeah. He knew that was there's a longing there that you just
in many ways he was a better guy than Jack.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? He had fewer, I think, glaring flaws that would hurt the whole family.
Yeah.
Sorry if that's a spoiler alert, guys, but Jack dies.
No.
It's kind of from the first episode, but
he couldn't fit on the door with Rose. No, that's a different movie.
That's Titanic.
Oh, it's a different Jack.
Yeah. It was a Titanic mistake that you made.
It was. Right? Yeah. I think Rose is like a villain. I've seen a couple of videos about this, but you start thinking about that movie, she married, then she her whole life she's pining for this guy that she had a 3-day fling with. And so and then she throws the diamond in the ocean.
Yeah, that was irresponsible at best.
Yeah, it's how about your family?
Well,
what about your grandkids?
If you looked at the pictures, she'd already lived a good life and everything worked out.
What about their life?
What, you think that she should provide for them now endlessly? They need to go make something of their own lives, Johnny. This is what's wrong with American society today. You all just want the heart of the ocean given to you. You know what I'm saying?
You don't. What's wrong with you?
Get out and get a job.
What's wrong with me is I don't want to throw away the Hope Diamond. Is that what you're saying?
It was hard to watch that because you're at least give it to a museum because it was from Louis the.
When she does it too, she goes she has a little impish Did I do? Yes, you did.
Did I just throw away $150 million? It did, but it also shows that she was not captured by the same. Some might say cosmic
the memories,
but the evil forces that took her fiance to great lengths to be abusive and other things.
Sure.
She was not a slave to those things.
But she held on to it for 50 years or whatever.
Well, yeah, because it was a memory of Jack.
But she obviously didn't need it.
See, and I don't know.
She wanted to make a big spectacle of, this doesn't mean anything to me. Do you like it?
I wonder, if it speaks to the way that we see things in the modern age. And that's sort of what the movie deals with a little bit. Mm-hmm. Marriage is more than just being in love with somebody, right? Having those, for them often, especially the further back in history you go, it's a relationship of convenience, of
status
provision,
or whatever. Yeah.
Right. This is how you have to marry somebody in order to get on in the world. Right. And so you may not find your best fit because they didn't have the internet like we do to make sure we get the perfect matches, because it's going great today with what we have.
You don't see anybody ever splitting up now. It's
no one's unhappy when they had their own choices and endless amounts of choices to make for themselves without any input from their family or from anyone in their culture or community. It's exactly what we all wanted.
So you're saying you want less freedom?
I'm saying I want to choose who my daughter marries.
Oh,
and
okay, sure.
I don't
like
think
an arranged.
It may sound nuts to you.
Right.
I get it. And the deal is, none of y'all know what it's like to be inside of my head or what's going on in my life. And so I think I'd make a really good choice.
I think you're going to be the best cult leader.
I tell you, the last few times I wasn't as great. I have a lot to learn from them.
Can you imagine like a regular guy that's just a normal guy, and then like you start peeling off the layers, and then like everything's normal, and then he just casually brings up that he's arranging his daughter's marriage. Like that's the one thing. You pass the potato salad. You just like at the cookout.
It's just arrange is a strong word, Johnny.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, you are a matchmaker. You and Laura are big matchmaker people because
there are many happy marriages out there that.
But I'm saying
Hey, listen, if you're listening and you think you're some of those people, Johnny just questioned the happiness of your marriage.
I'm saying you're saying the ends justify the means of you meddling.
Is it meddling? See, this is where I'm getting at. The modern culture calls it meddling because, and actually I read a book on this. It's over here.
Boy, you're such a busybody. You're just like, when I just showed them what was already there.
Misreading Scripture Through Western Eyes. Right. It's a great book. You should go read it.
Misreading marriage through meddling eyes.
Well,
that's your new.
What we consider meddling speaks to the individualistic value system that we have developed.
Right. You're saying it takes a village to make a marriage.
I'm saying.
And you needed to be in there like, hey, did you ever notice this guy? And she's like, not really. You're like, shouldn't you?
But there was a humility in past cultures
take
and
this
times.
Take this potion.
Where you would go, the biggest decision of my entire life.
Yeah.
That I obviously am not old enough yet to understand all the ramifications of.
Right.
That I'm still in a state of limerence, meaning I'm in a state where I'm driven by attraction and by feelings in those early stages of relationships.
I've never heard the word limerence. I never heard that. What's limerence?
Limerence is, there was a guy named Joe Beam who would talk about it in relationship stuff. I don't know why it was some pastor's thing years ago, and I always remembered it. And it was the state of mind, literally the chemical state of mind.
Like an infatuation
where
state.
Your brain cannot see all the negatives of another person.
Sure.
And it's actually meant to be a way you're designed to help you, because in the early stages you need to not see as much negative so you can fall in love and then build upon that. And so when it begins to fade, then people are very disillusioned if they haven't paid attention, if they didn't listen to their dad.
The limerence is wearing off. So you were being a dad to these people now?
Someone should listen to their dad. I'm just saying,
oh boy,
would it be nice if someone who'd been ahead of you, maybe someone who's been happily married for say 25 years, and not because someone picked it out, but just because we stumbled. Laura and I said all the time, we stumbled into great things. God just gave us great things. And Johnny, if you really bring it back around, I have to trust God to give my daughter great things. But doesn't God need my help just a little bit?
Sure.
I think the Scripture is super clear on the answer.
I think it speaks for itself. No, I think I've read articles about the opposite though of what you're calling limerence, which is it's almost like I can't do that word. Illimerence. Yeah. No, it's like the thing of when we were coming out of the caves or whatever you believe about early man, okay, we were trying to avoid being eaten by a bear or whatever. Right. So we look for like a snake around every corner. Yeah. Something's in the bushes. So we have this hyper awareness of I have to be careful with my life or I could lose it or die or catch on fire, whatever.
Just fire.
Just randomly catch on fire. It's what killed Dad. No, so spontaneous combustion. It's real. But no, so I think so people who are like overly careful and paranoid of, you know, overly self-protective and isolationist, they'll use that as, well, look. So there's like that thing, what is it called? Survivorship bias, where those people do live longer lives.
Yeah.
And then they go on to like make other people who are extra careful
right.
and live by that. And so then the other people feel like free spirits, and they're just in limerence. They're out there in limerence to be like, I just do what I feel.
Well, this is fly in the face.
They never see the snake around the corner. But so like the people who don't ever reach it, no, they're not careful. They just reach into bushes randomly.
See, I think this flies in the face of like most of the common belief systems that have like a Darwinian take. You know, you hear this whole like, we need men's men again, because in the old days it was the man who could kill the dinosaur, who would whatever. I don't know if they say that.
I don't know if that's
but the one who could protect. Yeah. And you're saying it's the one who can hide.
Well, it's like that thing that
this speaks to me.
That thing that makes you a little bit wary. It keeps you alive longer, but does it? Listen, are you living a full life? Really if you never take any chances, if you never reach into any random, if you never eat any random berry and go like, I bet this will make some great tea.
See, it's weird. We were just in the foyer earlier, and our youth pastor Jake was in there, and you know Jake had a kidney transplant.
Yeah,
we waited he waited a long time. But he was here 2 years on staff before that came. He's got a whole new life.
Yeah,
I mean, he's taken a great group to camp and getting to go out of state. He couldn't even go out of state. He had to stay close in case they called, because he had to be there in a couple hours. And so, just a huge, amazing story and such a God story. But we have this little half wall, and then the stairwell down to the kids' area is right behind it.
Yeah, concrete steps.
Yeah, and he's sitting up on the half wall telling us a story.
Yeah, just flailing his arms.
In animation, waving his hands and stuff.
Right.
And no one seemed to notice, but I'm thinking, all he's got to do is just tip backwards. Mm-hmm. You know, and he's a small guy. Yep. And so already I feel that his torso is going to weigh heavier than his legs and feet. You know what I'm saying? And his feet are dangling.
I don't like that assumption.
So I'm just like, it's just ready to just topsy over, you know, like, but Johnny, all the king's horses, bro, on this one. Because you would die. Yeah. It's a fall. It's probably a 20-foot drop onto concrete steps.
You went, Jake, will you please get down from there? It was just such a funny thing to say to another grown man.
Yeah. Well, but
you feel like he's not fully grown because you feel like his torso is way too heavy for his legs.
Well, I mean, he's an adult.
Yeah.
But he makes more jokes about himself than me. But I was like, I just can't. I said, what if you survived all this stuff?
Right, and then that's the thing.
Just telling us a funny story. Fell down the stairwell. Like, it just can't. I don't know.
That can't be the end of Jake.
Avoidable pain, right, is my whole trigger in life. Avoidable trouble. Unavoidable trouble, it's what it is. I mean, you got to deal with it.
You know what's unavoidable, John?
I do know.
Commercials. And we need to take a minute and hear from a few of our fine sponsors. Help us keep the lights on here and talk about that.
You know, one of these days, they're going to come on here and the lights are going to be off.
And it's going to be because...
we have made a point. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey...
Maybe you shouldn't have hit skip 30 seconds.
We don't make idle threats here at Talk About That.
These lights are off
We
now.
make idle promises. Now, there's a big difference.
Is the show better in the dark? Perhaps.
Maybe.
You think some people listen in the dark? Some people listen to podcasts at night when they lay down to go to bed or whatever.
I don't know.
Like I always tell it to Curry, she listens to these true crime things, and she's like, I didn't sleep good. I go, you had murder in your ears for 8 hours.
Yeah. My wife listens to podcasts everywhere, but like she has a shower speaker.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's waterproof, I guess? Or is it just up high enough?
I think that's the definition of
a shower speaker. No, but I'm saying is, does it really get wet, or is it just like in there? It's a damp environment. She's not
immersing it or anything.
Okay.
But yes, it can get wet. So it's like an outside speaker.
All right.
They just call it a shower speaker.
Is it Bluetooth or is it wired in?
Bluetooth.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's just, okay.
You're wanting one, won't you? Johnny, you can go on Amazon. They've had them for like 20 years.
I'm a big gizmo guy. I always see a gizmo and I'm like, this would change my life.
Oh, yeah.
And I've got a whole drawer full of them.
I went, so oddly enough, I thought I had an ear infection. Mm-hmm. So we have a friend who's an audiologist. And I went to the doctor 2 weeks ago for just a random physical, and he looked at my ears. And here's the thing.
He said, how are you hearing anything?
He was like, you have a lot of earwax. Now, I'm a super producer kind of guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you always thought I was very productive.
John, you brag about the weirdest stuff.
But I have a lot, and it may sound gross to some people, and that's because it is. But
yeah. Some people say leave it alone. People that go like, you don't even need to ever use Q-tips because it's natural. It keeps, I don't know what it's supposed to do.
I had this weird thought of...
keeps bugs out of your ears.
I had this weird thought of like, I wonder if it protects my hearing a little bit.
Huh.
Like this other... But he was like, he went to my left side, he was like, which is where I thought I had an ear infection 2 weeks later. He was like, you have like a plug in there. He's like, you probably need to, go somewhere and get... I was like, well, I have an audiologist friend, and she has... Johnny, you know what it's called? The machine?
The Ear Suck 2000.
Come on, really think it through for a second.
Hold on.
You'll get there.
Hold on. It's called Hero, but it's spelled H-E-A-R.
The irrigator. You should have had that.
Right there.
And it's like it shoots water, but
Yeah.
it makes it shoots it until the stuff comes out.
Yeah.
Like warm water.
Or goes further in and gets in your brain.
No, because it goes in and turns around and it creates like a...
Comes out your nose? What does it do?
No, it comes out your ear.
Oh, I see.
But yeah, so I think it goes in high and comes out low. I don't know. But it's a water flow.
That's their slogan.
So I got all the plugs pulled out of my ear, and then so that's story one. No ear infection, just a lot of earwax.
Turns out Laura shouts a lot.
I have been hearing better the last day. But you know what the audiologist office is near?
What's that?
Harbor Freight Tools.
Right.
This is back to your gadget thing.
So
do you ever go into Harbor Freight?
Love it. They're great if you need a tool that lasts like 2 weeks.
I was in
if you're
there.
like, I'm going to mix tile mortar and I need a drill to spin the little cake batter thing, but it'll ruin my drill. But I can get a $17 Harbor Freight drill. Yeah. And then I can make my tile job, and then I'll throw it in the trash.
Most of my Harbor Freight stuff is done pretty well.
Really?
Yeah, I have a
Harbor Freight, not a sponsor, I hope.
I have a nailer.
Yeah.
When I had to repair a bunch of stuff under my deck, like huge boards, and I mean the nailer worked great.
Yeah. Have you used it more than like a few times?
No, just that one project.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
So like I think it's what I mean. It's like they're disposable tools almost.
Yeah, I think that my chop saw is from Harbor Freight. And that was my dad's. So it's still going.
All right,
he used it a lot, and I use that quite a bit actually. So, but that's one of there's only two places I like to shop in my entire life.
I thought you were going to say you could hear the tools better.
I could hear them calling.
I stepped out, and you're like, you heard like, you're like. It's like remember when Daredevil that's what happens with Daredevil when he gets his powers or whatever, like he's laying in bed and he can hear like the married couple fighting next door, he can hear somebody else getting like abused, he can hear a guy getting beat up in the street, and it's like driving him crazy. It's like he hears all the crime in the neighborhood, but all of his senses are heightened.
It was just like that.
It was just like that, except you could hear a drill press.
But I did come out with quite a few. Like if I go into Harbor Freight, I come out with a pair of... Now, what is the most useful tool of all time?
Oh, I don't know.
Hand tool. You can get it for cheap.
Like a channel lock, little adjustable pliers?
Yeah, but what kind?
Oh, I don't know.
Needle nose vice grips.
I've never even... Have I seen needle nose vice grips?
You mean some of these?
Oh, look at you. Oh, the ones that adjust at the end. Yeah.
Needle nose vice grips. And I got a big... I mean, you can get these for like $6. So... You know,
you really are prepared for this. You got this.
I brought this to stick over here in this drawer because I can't tell you how often. I mean, it is the best tool.
Needle nose vice grips.
Use it so often, you end up leaving it places and everything. So I picked up some needle nose vice grips.
This is the daddy. This is the daddest conversation. It's like just wow. We're going to talk about barbecuing in a minute.
We do got a new smoker.
Arranged marriage.
Thing, so. Hey, Johnny, it's about that time.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's my quote of the week, a segment we call They Talked About That. It's pretty good. A little Gregorian chant methodology going on there.
I went a little Gregorian with it. Is it named after Gregory?
I think
who are the Gregorians? What's that all about? Was there a guy named Gregory? Pope Gregory? Was there a Pope Gregory? Bet there was.
I think there was, but I don't know if it's Gregorian monks. Maybe, perhaps it's an order, or there's no way to know. We'll look. That's for another time.
It is. Look at people already shouting at their
sorry guys,
devices.
Yeah. Marcus Aurelius. So he was a Roman emperor, which, if you remember, in the first gladiator.
Yeah.
This is the emperor that he serves when he finally reveals himself to the evil emperor who killed Marcus Aurelius in his sleep.
Yes.
I am the commander of the armies of the North, loyal servant to Marcus Aurelius. So he's a real guy. So, not Russell Crowe. He's also a real guy.
Right.
But he wasn't really a gladiator. That was a movie.
Yes.
Roman emperor from 161 to 180. But the thing I've been looking at some quotes from like Stoic philosophers lately a little bit. I think we don't look at what the ancient Greeks and Romans and others, I think this is interesting. We have modern bias and we assume, but often people are saying things much more intelligently than we're thinking.
Well, yeah, we think
today.
of stoic. We it's like a negative thing now.
Right.
He was so stoic. We think it means like you're not letting your emotions get to you in a bad way. Like you live your life like in a muted way,
right?
Instead of like, no, I'm just under control and I'm very contemplative. That's what stoic meant to them.
You're not running from the negative. You're allowing life to have I'm sure there's always an extreme to every side,
right.
But you're not, as opposed to the Epicureans who are,
they were all about pleasure,
right. But the Stoics, allowing there to be some level of balance between negativity and positivity, recognizing it all makes you. In fact, there's a whole movement. I forget what it's called. Is it
the new Stoicism that's coming? So what you're saying? There's a new.
I'm starting it right now. I think I'm the right guy.
The key tenets are arranged marriage, contemplation,
harbor freight,
vice grips.
Yeah,
for some reason,
gotta have some vice grips.
That's how you hold the people together after you've married them off.
Right.
No, you're not going anywhere.
Doing vice grips. Nito knows.
Okay.
Yeah. He said the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts.
Mm.
The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. And you and I had a lot of talk at lunch today about these kinds of concepts. I think being a dad of a 16, almost 17-year-old girl who plays sports and is, finishing her sophomore year, going to start her junior year, college talks, and she won an academic award, top 10
I saw that.
the other night. Yeah, she's doing well, but life is not always easy. She's neurodivergent, and her brain is just wired beautifully and different than a neurotypical person. But there's lots, but I think I don't know where I fall on the spectrum. I think we all fall somewhere to some extent. But
everybody's on the spectrum. It's a spectrum.
Right, that's the thing. But there's like this tension of what do I think she needs to know before she enters the world as an adult.
Yeah.
And I think maybe in the past, some of those things were almost caught more easily just within the normal ramifications of family life.
Yeah.
And I think that pace and technology and their version of communication with one another and their friends, they're not catching as much because of the nature of social media as their communication and those kinds of things. And I also feel sometimes as if, because and I'm going to be shocked to hear this, I'm a direct instruction kind of guy, right? I'm constantly saying the thing out loud that I want you to know.
Is that how you would rather be taught as well? In other words, would you rather just know right from somebody else that goes, just tell me what you want me to do?
Yes. That's why I'm the quote of the week guy, right?
Yeah.
A good aphorism. Because I'm a thinking first guy in the triad. I think my daughter is a feeling first, and she has a lot of Enneagram 6 tendencies as well. But she seems to be in the heart triad, as is my wife in the heart triad, which doesn't mean they don't think or it just means they feel first. Mm-hmm. So yes, I have to learn, if you come to me and you just drop that perfect sentence, it will change my life. I will go, okay, that I now think that way. Mm-hmm. And we'll try to apply that. I will write it down. I will meditate on it through various ways, and it'll just be kind of a thing. I remember our friend Elizabeth, she told me one time, she was in college age at that point. She goes, you're one of the people I know in life, I don't know many, that every time I talk to you, something is changing your life. Because I'm very excited about information. I'm excited about new information and growing. And there's a limit to that. I've certainly, it was a mistaken assumption as a younger person to think that I could learn my way into certain places of maturity that now I'm seeing, oh, my only way I'm ever going to get there is by learning from experiences. I don't think experience in itself is enough.
Right.
Because you can have an experience and not learn from it.
Right. It could just be traumatic and then you just,
And I do think stopping to verbalize or add language to the experience in your postmortem, in your analysis of it's really important.
It sounds exhausting to be
in my head.
Yeah. Well, it'd be exhausting to be in a family relationship with you because you'd be like, what did we learn, everybody?
I know. I really try.
Let's do a postmortem on this trip to Buc-ee's. What did we?
There's so much to learn from Buc-ee's. But and I don't want to be that guy. Like, I don't want to be the exhausting guy, but I also feel like I'm running out of time.
Yeah, that's true.
And so there's like this whole, okay, I know you're not going to like this, but this is kind of my whole job to do this. So how do I maintain? And there's I don't think I do very well with that. Laura helps me. You have to pick and choose when and all those things. But at some point, the kids are so stressed, there's never a good time.
Right.
Like, I just have to do it at some point. Like, you're not going to like this because you're not in a headspace for this. But when are you ever going to be? When does life slow down enough for you just to be like, you know what, Dad?
Yeah.
Let's talk contemplation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
it's like if you only go to the gym on days you feel like it, you'll never go to the gym.
Right. It's like...
Which is why I haven't been to the gym in a long time.
Free drinks tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. Free beer manana. Mm-hmm. Want that?
I mean, like, it's
some of y'all out here.
Guys, y'all just need to, I don't know. But so we talk a lot, though, about understanding, paying attention to the direction of your thoughts. And then to me, that also trickles into your words. Like, what's coming out of your mouth is a reflection of the Bible says, your heart. I think, when you look at heart and soul, the soul word in Greek is where we get the word psyche. You look at the mind. I mean, I don't think necessarily they separated them into such neat little silos as we try to do. I think it's more like this is the whole of your person, or some commentaries might say like the seat of your affections or of your emotions. So what's coming out of you, right? What you're thinking about, what you're saying, and I think that what he says, eventually it does come to a point that it leaves. And I like the idea of dyeing something, right? It's not like just painting it. It's that if you ever try to dye a shirt or something, it might take more than one time,
right,
to get it to where you want it to be.
You're immersing it in that, and it's indelible, and
it's over time changing,
right?
And so whether or not that's like, I'm not looking for chronic positivity, and my kid would never do that anyway. She's too, in a good way, wired for authenticity, right?
Yeah.
But when you're wired for authenticity and you recognize that life is full of hardship, it's hard not to become one who's focused upon the negative parts around you that you're always, especially when your mom and dad are helping you through the negative parts and trying to teach you lessons through it as you go. I agree. It must be exhausting to be in my household.
I'm just busting your chops.
I'm exhausted by it myself. The inner message of I know I'm too much for everybody and all those things.
Too much.
No,
John.
I really am. Trust me, I can absolutely be. But it's just interesting. I think what I want is this is to give her Marcus Aurelius' quote or whatever for today, and her to be like, you know what, Dad?
That's it. You unlocked.
Yeah. And I think that what I've come to believe after, especially I think youth ministry really helped with this. I told Laura the other day, is like, you realize at 16 or 17, she's not going to remember much more that we did that are big things before now. Mm-hmm. So we feel exhausted, like we've just been parenting. You get to a point you're like, we're giving us all we got. And I see parents not give up at this stage, but to go, well, now they're going to have to figure this out on their own. I'm like, no, 18 is nothing. Guys, if you don't know this, it's in the data. Like 18 is not some magic number where they're suddenly adults just because they owe taxes and can buy cigarettes. Like that's not.
I think it's 21 for cigarettes, isn't it?
No, it's 18 for cigarettes, 21 for alcohol.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right. So I shouldn't have been.
I shouldn't have been buying cigarettes for those kids. It's a 25. Your brain's still developing. So it's one of the days. Like for guys, it may be all like to like 27, 28. And so I don't want to be meddling, to your point, forever. But I also am not.
But you are really good at it.
I'm not.
I
can't launch a kid that the world would say, she's ready. I mean, I'm looking at kids We're looking at kids all around us who obviously...
It's like the Bush mission accomplished on the aircraft carrier. That's what it basically is when you're like, well,
that war's over.
Good.
Yeah. 20 years later. No, I mean, and so, but also giving her the freedom. And she's got a lot more freedom. I love it. She'll come home like, hey, I'm heading to Providence. And she'll just get in her car and go.
Yeah.
And be gone for 2 hours, Now, am I tracking her like a hawk? Johnny, you bet I am.
You know why? That's real Providence.
That's
some of y'all
come
out
on,
here.
Man.
You're letting your daughter go to Providence, but you're not counting on the providence of the Lord.
Yeah, I probably should have said Providence is a place in Mount Juliet, like the big mall.
And a place in Rhode Island.
Yeah, there is.
But that's not where she's going.
That's not.
You're not
that's
letting
a
your
long
daughter,
drive.
You're not letting your daughter drive to Rhode Island.
The battery would run out before I could finish tracking
I read
her.
the roads are like they rank the roads, and I think the roads in Rhode Island are the worst, which is kind of funny because it's the road in the name. But I've heard that I think it's because of like it's a lot of snow, and then they chip up all the. It's awful, and it's near the ocean. So there's all that. I don't know what it is, but it's bad roads.
You do know the road spelled differently.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm just saying it's a homonym. It's a
Johnny. Do you know anything?
I'm a Rhodes scholar. I'm a
ROAD.
ROAD. That's what they told me on the construction crew.
That's funny, Johnny. Go to construction crew and then put in a resume. I'm a Rhodes scholar.
Anybody have potholes to fill? I am a Rhodes. Am I right? And they go, get out.
Marcus Aurelius, this is your Stoic podcast. We're here for you. All the...
I don't know. I think I've got some stoic in me for sure, in that because people always say that to Curry after shows. There's always that person, oh, it must be crazy living with this guy.
Oh my gosh,
she's
like constant fun,
and she knows the truth, which is
she's in a literal hell.
She is not doing so great. No, but it's because I'm very I internalize everything. I overanalyze everything. I overcoach everything. So I guess there's a little stoicism in what I do. Like Chris Rock talked about that one time. He was like, comedians are more depressed, but it's our literal job to sit around and think about all this stuff. Right. Like other people have hobbies and things they can avoid. Literally, our hobby and our job is to like, let's take a deep dive into this.
Yeah.
And so like, no wonder there's going to be more. Like you're literally pondering the meaning of things.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to make it deeper than it is. I always hate when comedians do that.
Johnny, I feel like your job's so important in this world. Like, I don't know where we'd be.
Could you just affirm me real quick?
No, it really is. I mean, actually,
it.
There's lots of historical data about that. I mean, the artists and those who can bring some levity to the difficulty. I mean, it really is important.
I don't do it for them. I do it for myself.
No, I know. And the money.
I'm bringing levity to you for cash.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a lucrative thing we're doing here.
It's super duper lucrative. Yeah. John, speaking of levity, let's do my segments. Let's start with Johnny's old jokes. We call it Joke About That. Sometimes I think when I set this up, I think people who are listening for the first time think that these are my old jokes.
They're not Johnny's jokes.
It's just Johnny telling old jokes like what we would call street jokes.
Yeah.
Or like jokey jokes.
Yeah.
Anyway.
The kind of jokes I would tell.
Yeah.
Right. Not the kind that Johnny would write.
But some of these are pretty clever anyway.
No.
A man called his twin brother from prison, John. Hey, remember when we were kids and used to finish each other's sentences?
Guys, because it's a sentence. Okay.
John, an old man and a 20-year-old are paired together at a golf tournament. I like old man and young man.
Yeah.
Old man getting it over on the young man kind of jokes.
Yeah.
There's always those.
You're liking those more and more every year.
Yeah. Because I relate more to the old man. And the city slickers getting it over, or getting, kind of taken advantage of by the country bumpkin. The country bumpkin, he has the common sense that the city slicker doesn't have in the end of the joke. I like those kind of jokes.
Stick it to those elitist.
Well, there's like a turn the table. There's like a justice that happens of merit. That happens in a joke. Anyway, an old man and a 20-year-old are paired together at a golf tournament. They're playing a long par 5 that dog legs around some tall trees. As the 20-year-old sets up his tee shot to hit onto the fairway, the old man notes, "When I was your age, we used to hit over the trees, not around to the side." So the 20-year-old readjusts. Tries to hit over the trees, but can't clear them, loses his ball. He tries again, loses that one too. Then the old man says, "Of course, when I was your age, the trees were only 6 foot tall." Hell!
Gotcha.
Old people. John, finally, my grandfather says to me, "When I was a boy, you could walk into the grocery store with $2 in your pocket, walk out with a loaf of bread, a dozen eggs, and even a little butter." He says, "But now, these days, too many cameras."
See, guys, he's a thief.
He's a shoplifter in that joke. John, let's do This Week in History. We call it Talk About Then. Don't shoplift, kids.
No, kids.
This is not an encouragement of.
No.
We laugh at it and we do think it's amusing when old people steal.
And we do it.
But that's not.
No, but it's not something you should do.
No, we're going to say, do as we say, not.
Right. Not as we. I mean, how else are we going to afford these microphones?
Thank you. Okay. Which we also stole.
Yeah.
John, this week in 1992, the FBI seized the world's largest T-Rex skeleton. The FBI.
Okay.
Seized a T-Rex skeleton. Didn't know this story. The world's largest Tyrannosaurus Rex skeleton is seized by the FBI from the Black Hills Institute of Geological Research, claiming it had been illegally taken from federal land. Peter Larson's team recovered the nearly complete 67-million-year-old T-Rex skeleton in 1990 in South Dakota. With more than 80% of the skeleton recovered, it was the most complete and largest T-Rex ever discovered. Even though Larson had negotiated a deal with the landowner prior to removing the T-Rex, the investigation led to him being imprisoned for 18 months on unrelated charges of fossil theft, money laundering, and making false statements to government agencies. Those feel like related.
He had another unrelated charge of fossil theft?
Those feel like related charges.
Also, sir.
These other fossils you got in your trunk. Let's have a talk about this. Mosquito in amber.
Yeah.
Or whatever. We spared no expense. The owner of the land, who originally agreed to a $5,000 fee for the skeleton, so this guy was way lowballed.
Wow,
yeah, whatever you find, $5,000, sure.
Wow.
Evidently, he didn't even own the land because it was federal land. He eventually received $7.6 million from its auction and is now on display. It is now, not he's on display. The Tyrannosaurus Rex is now on display at Chicago's. It would be weird to display the man.
He's just holding money. Like, get me out of here. It's not worth it. Exactly. It's like some sort of Greek mythology.
That would, yeah. It's like the Twilight Zone episode. Yeah. It's now on display at Chicago's Field Museum, which I didn't know was a thing. But there's a T-Rex.
Like, I can't understand, though.
So
if it's federal land,
right? How
did this guy get paid?
I don't know 100% what's going on here.
Was he the federal government? Guys.
Sometimes I do more research on these to figure out more because we're pulling these from someplace, but I feel like there's something else.
I think we need to call the FBI to maybe they made a mistake.
They would never lie.
Yeah.
John, by the way, if you find something on your property, evidently you get to keep it. So, like, have you ever thought about maybe looking around your land for
I have thought about it.
Relics? Have you ever been a metal detector guy?
I have before. Where they sold a metal detector? Harbor Freight.
It's probably
I almost bought one.
The most quality.
Because I watched Curse of Oak Island.
Right,
so,
and you're...
Yeah.
Well, did you ever find...
Drayton.
But you used to okay, so tell me this. You used to weed eat. Did you ever find... What's the most interesting thing you ever found while weed eating with your dad?
It wasn't while weed eating. The most interesting thing I ever found was when we were building this building, and we were digging with a ditch witch at like a 4-foot trench down here for all of the utilities that were going to come in on the backside of the property.
Yeah.
And I found an old chain. I'm assuming, I keep it in my garage, but it's like really old. It's like perfectly round.
Links.
And then it has narrow link, perfectly round, narrow link.
Huh.
So it's like obviously older than anything that I've ever seen. And I just took a picture the other day and tried to reverse Google image it to see if I could find out its day or age.
Nothing came up?
No, not yet.
Huh. It was before they perfected the design of a chain.
Yeah, well, I would...
Why would there be a round link, then an oval link, then a round link, then an oval link? Humpback, eye, crooked letter.
I don't know.
Why would they...
I'm assuming obviously it was for, oxen.
We don't know what... Oxen?
So maybe, I don't know.
Are there oxen in this part of the...
I don't know. They do oxen on Curse of Oak Island. So
John, speaking of pack animals, this week, 1856, American naval officer David Dixon Porter arrived in Texas with a shipload of camels from Turkey. These were the first camels imported to the U.S. for commercial purposes.
Okay.
During the westward expansion of the United States, military forces were looking for ways to ease transportation. In arid regions throughout the early 19th century, various proposals were made for camels to be used as pack animals, with a proposal by then Secretary of War Jefferson Davis finally being approved in 1856 with a budget of $30,000. In an experiment that would later become known as the Camel Corps.
Wow.
The process of acquiring camels began around the Mediterranean. Eventually, 70 were procured. The project was originally a success, but due to the American Civil War, it was largely abandoned, with many supporters like Jefferson Davis joining the Confederacy. The camels were sold off or abandoned, with some being seen for decades after. So these camels were just like, we don't need you anymore. But then they're just released into the ecosystem. Roaming. And this is why it makes the list, because they were being seen for decades afterwards. And in 1883, one of the camels from the military that ended up in the wild is believed to have inspired the Arizona stories of the Red Ghost, which was a large red camel with a bleached human skeleton riding on its back. Tales of the Red Ghost spread throughout Arizona and grew taller each time the stories were told, with the Red Ghost being 30 foot tall and killing and eating a grizzly bear in some stories. The sightings continued for 10 years until 1893, when farmer Mizzou Hastings, what a great farmer name.
Yeah.
Mizzou. Oh. Old man Mizzou Hastings shot the Red Ghost. He saw a creature eating in his yard and proceeded to shoot it, killing it in a single shot. It was then discovered that the beast was a camel with leather straps on the side, stuck so tight that it was scarred. The remains of an unknown dead man were attached to the back of the camel.
You're kidding.
However, various tales have appeared to explain it over the years. Some say it was a prospector dying of thirst who tied himself to the back, hoping that it would bring him to some water, while others say it was a soldier learning to ride a camel when it suddenly bolted off. The verifiability of some parts of the legend remain questionable, as some records are missing or have been lost over time. But the Red Ghost, the legend, the lore.
So they really were seeing a dead guy on the back of a camel all that time.
And they were like, it's a ghost. There was a ghost. And of course, the tales, it was 80 feet tall if he was a foot.
Wow.
But he shot the camel.
It was like shooting Sasquatch.
Yeah. You could have just, there's no way that camel was a threat.
No.
But maybe he was the harbinger of the weird skeleton on him.
If you thought it was you saw a dead guy on the back of a camel, you're probably thinking, shoot now and ask questions of the camel later.
Yeah. Don't mess around. He already ate a grizzly bear in one of the stories.
Oh, no kidding.
He killed the Red Ghost.
Wow.
That's a bummer. Have you ever ridden on a camel?
I have not.
I'm trying to remember where I was at that they had camel rides. Because it was obviously it was probably at a zoo or something. They're like,
I would guess. It was.
When on the circus, you used to be able to ride elephants and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking it might have been one of those kind of Ringling Brothers situation.
I bet Roy Stone, our friend, would have so many camel stories.
He would have a camel story.
Yeah.
He probably knew about the Red Ghost.
Probably did.
They're like, there was a skeleton. He's like, you mean Dave? Like he knew the guy. No, he wouldn't have known the guy. It was 1800s.
That's funny.
John, this week, 1985, the world record for motionless was set by William Fuqua, who sat 24 hours on a motorcycle. I don't know. This one made the list because...
He did what?
He sat motionless while Guinness counted off the hours.
But the motorcycle wasn't moving.
No.
This is it?
Why would you choose a motorcycle to set your record on? It's a really uncomfortable place to sit 24 hours. When I had my scooter, which I just want to say for the record, it was an automatic motorcycle, basically. It was a twist and go, but it would go 100 miles an hour. It was a big scooter.
So the position of your feet.
I know. I'm sitting like a little kid at his desk. I get
Hey, everybody. That was your horn. Sorry. You're very masculine.
At any rate, I remember being on that for 45 minutes. My butt would go numb. You get numb bum.
See, to me, 24 hours was not long enough for this record to be set.
So if I'd let you guess, that's why I don't let you guess anymore, because you'd be like, 5 days, and then I'd look like an idiot saying 24 hours was the record. But it made me think,
literally doing nothing.
It sounds like a dream. What if you were going to sit motionless, though, would you be like, all right, get Guinness out here. I'm going to get my recliner and hunker down and put on Netflix.
Yeah. Well, then you can't move your eyes either, right?
I don't know how do they categorize motionlessness?
Do you know when you go to the dentist now, there's always a TV on the ceiling? Uh-huh. That's the way.
Wait a minute. There's a TV on the ceiling at your desk?
Yeah.
No, there's not one at mine.
Really?
You got the...
Yeah, they're like playing... I've heard that other day.
I think you're just getting the good drugs. They're just like, you're like, change the channel.
They're like, sir.
Yeah, there's...
there
sure
no
we did.
TV.
What are you seeing now,
The calls
buddy?
are coming from inside the TV. No, there really is. It's
TV on the ceiling.
They had Game Show Network on. That's what they had.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was the game show? Was it a dentist related? Name
pyramid,
that too.
$100,000 pyramid.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got it. That's a high-end dentist that they're rolling that into your bill.
Bro, I think that if you look at me, that guy goes to a high-end dentist. There's no doubt.
It's doing okay. John, finally, this week, 1993. This story is just called Air Force One. Do you want to take a guess of what happened in 1993 to lead to that headline? 1993 would have been... Clinton. U.S. President Bill Clinton tied up Los Angeles International Airport while he got a $200 haircut aboard an Air Force One jet on the runway.
Wow.
So basically, everything has to stop till the president takes off because it clears the airspace. And he was like, I need to get him. And he got a haircut.
Why didn't he just...
What's the most expensive haircut you've ever gotten?
Oh.
It's a great clip. Well,
it's hard to remember.
It's been a while. Yeah, it's been a minute.
I mean, $50 maybe?
Yeah.
That'd be really tops.
If you had a coupon.
Yeah. I don't know. I still feel again that hair is wasted on the young. And
yeah. No, you're right about that.
Those who don't want to deal with the scathing shame of baldness. But, I mean, has it made me a better person? The Stoics would say yes.
You're sitting in the hairlessness.
Yeah. I don't run from it.
No.
I'm not one of those people on the billboards. I'll see the people on the billboards with the before and the after.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't think you could pay me enough to be the guy they use the before and the after. And the before, it's almost like they made sure they gave them bad news.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, sorry about this, but right before we take this picture, we just got a call from your wife. Your dog was, kidnapped by that, whatever. And they're like, I mean, they look awful.
Right.
It's like, you could make anybody look better. If they just would have done the same hair and just had him not think his dog died or something.
But then you have those billboards, the most famous, I was in Chicago recently, and the most famous hair transplant person who just owned it and was like, this is going to be my thing now, is Brian Urlacher. Brian Urlacher was like, he would just shave his head as he was losing his hair throughout his career as a Hall of Fame linebacker with the Chicago Bears. He just shaved it all. And so he just had a bald head. Anytime you'd see a photo of Brian. And then one day he just had boom, full head of hair. And he just was like, yeah, I did it at this clinic and they're amazing guys and it took this many procedures. And now he's like their spokesperson for the last decade or more. Yeah. And the billboards, very cleverly, as you go through, what do you want to think the billboard said? Brian Urlacher's picture, such and such clinic.
Oh, the hair.
The hairs.
Did I get it?
The hairs.
Look at that.
Yeah. I was like, this guy.
Yeah.
But it's like he just, so you could be that guy. Would you ever, if you just showed up one day with hair, man, it would be so jarring.
It would be jarring.
And then your wife would have to admit, I really did like the hair.
She swears up and down. I said, "I was like, honey, I could go get it." She goes, "I really actually like it better."
No, I think you do look better, Paul.
It looks better than certainly the 2 or 3 years between
where you're hanging on to scraps.
When I was hanging on.
Yeah.
I should have taken it. I didn't know what was under there, Johnny. Right. I didn't know what was under there.
How could you know?
Couldn't know.
I got a bump here. So if my hairline ever gets to right here, it's over for me. Because I would have to have that sanded off or whatever you do. I'd have to go get that. They don't do that?
That's brain surgery.
There's not a sanding
that's
procedure.
That's a lobotomy, sir. That little bump, that's your brain.
No.
You're going to want to keep on. Hold on to that. That's important. So,
well, we appreciate you giving us your brains today, dear listeners. Yeah, if you wanted to learn more about the show or find old episodes, John, where would you go?
You go to talkaboutthatpodcast.com.
350 plus archived episodes. Click on the upper right-hand link if you want ad-free content. Become a patron. We love our patrons. If you want to send a message to the show, send us a note. We'd love to hear from you. Hello at talkaboutthatpodcast.com.
Yeah. Hey, guys, Jonnie W., I mean, he would not want me to say this, but especially with some of these latest viral videos.
Louder.
The dude's just blowing up all over the country. So, louder. Say it. We shot this part 5 times until I got it right. But no, you should go check out a Jonnie W show. If you've never been to a live show, guys, seriously, I laugh the whole time, and I know most of the jokes.
Like an idiot. I'm like, can we have that man?
Please get that guy. And it's not. I'm not even faking that. Guys,
we just added 3 more shows at my home club, Zanies, at a room they have called The Lab. We're doing a monthly Jonnie W and Friends. And I've already got some of my friends lined up to come do the show with me and working out some new material. And the first one is June 3rd at Zanies, Nashville. So go to Zanies or go to my website, JonnieW.com, to get tickets for that. And there's one in July, and there'll be one in August as well. We're going to keep it going monthly, hopefully, but we'll see how they go. But fill that room, and it's going to be a fun one. I've got pals coming in from all over the country to be a part of that show, and it's a tough spot to get on my show. Let me just say that. It's not something I just go handing that out.
So I can't do my 5 minutes?
I'm going to go ahead and ask you to submit a demo reel.
What about the Hatchback of Notre Dame joke? I think it's ready. It just needs culture to catch up with it. It's ahead of its time.
That's what it is. It's not that it's hopelessly lame.
And so it has a little bit of a build up to get there. But Jonnie, that's just good stuff.
Don't dumb it down for me.
I'm not going to dumb it down for you. Hatchback is the joke. Guys, it means a lot that you spend the time with us that you did today. And remember, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. So I hope the good thoughts follow you for the rest of this week. And we'll see you next week here on
Talk About That.